Okay, it's Christmas, so I thought I would celebrate by making a Christmas special video. And to do that, I decided I would do a semi-review on this product. Unfortunately, this will turn into a bit of a rant. Before I start, apologies if the lighting here is not too good. Not in my workshop or office, so it is a bit dark in here, and I can't turn the lights on. They're LED and they cause a lot of flickering on the camera. But hopefully you can see well enough. So on Christmas morning, I was lucky enough to receive one of these as a present. I'm a keen chess player, so this was very exciting. If you haven't seen one of these, then if you go to TechMode's channel, he's done a very good review on one of these. So I won't be doing a full review. This is more about a conceptual aspect of this product more than anything else. But just in case you haven't seen one of these, I'll give a quick demonstration. Obviously it's a chess set, but it's with a twist. It's a computerized chess set. So if I make a move, so as you can see, it's a magic chess set. So as you can see, it's very interesting, a very clever piece of design. It plays very good chess. It's got multiple levels from beginner up to semi-expert. But one of the interesting aspects of this is you can use it across the internet. You can play games against other people that have one of these, and it doesn't matter where they are. You can connect to their board and essentially play a game of chess as if they were sitting next to them. And it's very interesting. It's quite good to play against as well. I've played a number of games and it does play very good chess. It makes some fairly odd moves sometimes, but other than that, it's extremely good, and it's one of the best products I've seen for a very long time, and as I say, also one of the worst. And the reason I say it's one of the worst is not because of really anything in particular that the developer's done that relates specifically to the finished product as such. It's more about a design step that they've taken that many other developers of current products are taking that drives me absolutely insane. If you're familiar with the content of my channel, you know that what I'm trying to promote and get people interested in is the basics of design, development and vintage equipment as well. And one of those is to design good products. That's one of the main things I want to come out of it, is to try and get developers, especially young developers, on track to develop good products. Now this potentially has the makings of one of the best products I've seen, but it falls flat on its face as far as I'm concerned. There are certain aspects of it. It's a fairly new product and there are certain things that need to be ironed out. It's noisy, that needs to be dealt with. They need to put a bit more effort into optimizing and designing the mechanics. The pieces are very cheap feel to them. They don't all sit squarely on the board. The bases aren't all square. That makes it feel cheap when you're actually using it. That could be designed out, of course, over time. But fundamentally, the overall appearance is very nice. The using it's very nice as far as the actual board is concerned. But where it is really let down, this is the bit that I really loathe about this sort of design, is this. The use of not so much a tablet, but an application, an app, to drive something like this. So firstly, when I tried to use this, I started with the tablet I've just shown you, and I spent 6 hours trying to get this working. It wouldn't work. The software, the application installed, but it would not connect to the board. That was after a lot of messing about with Apple trying to get this to allow me to download the application in the first place. So I had to switch this one out with another one. Luckily I do have more than one, but that's not really something that most people would have or would want to have to buy a new tablet every time they buy a new product. But unfortunately, that is what happens when you use applications for products like this. Apple in particular build in obsolescence to their products. So if you get something that runs today, you'll find in a few months' time it will stop working, and there's a lot of umming and ahhing and oh, this will be sorted out, and it's constantly changing. And the problem is that when they bring out a new operating system, the application that was released by the developers of a product like this won't run on it. Nor will you be able to downgrade your tablet to run the old version. So unless the developers of this product continually bring out new applications, then in a fairly short time this will become an obsolete device. It just will not function, and it will not function at all without the application. And I found this over and over again over the last 5 to 10 years, is that every time there's a new product that uses an application, I have to go through a very long and tedious process of updating the operating system on the tablet, getting the new app. Half the time it doesn't work. It takes ages for them to get sorted out. Then all the old stuff won't work anymore. And if the developers of the equipment I had previously haven't brought out a new app, I can't get it to work. It's just dead. And it's unacceptable. This is just lazy development. There's absolutely no reason why the control system, a small touch panel screen, couldn't be installed directly into this. The cost is not very high these days. To put a touch screen into something is fairly easy. All my products that my company develops have integrated touch screens. I did experiment a few years ago with going down the Apple route to see just how practical it was. So I got my developer ID and all the usual nonsense you go through with Apple, and it was hopeless. The basic design premise is absolutely disgraceful. So I would never develop a product like this. I would never put the time and effort and money into developing something like this if it relies on an app, because it is just building in obsolescence for your product. If Apple change their rules and it's something you can't comply with, you don't have a product anymore. You're going to get no end of complaints from your users because of things that are beyond your control. And it is terrible. And looking at the forums, there are some ridiculous comments I saw on there. There's one forum about a different problem that people were having with Apple iPads and iPhones, where a certain product wouldn't work, and Apple were constantly promising it would be sorted out. And one of the comments on one of the forums said everyone should calm down, these things happen, everyone just needs to wait until Apple sort it out, which I thought was one of the stupidest comments I've ever heard. And if you applied it to other products, people just would not be willing to tolerate it. If I give you an example, imagine you leave work in the evening and go and get in your car and it won't start. So you contact the manufacturer and they'll tell you, they'll have it sorted out within a couple of weeks or a month or so. I'm pretty sure that person wouldn't turn around and say, well, these things happen, and happily take the bus home. Same with your TV. Imagine anything else where you had the same aggravation and obsolescence that tablets generate. And it is a marketing tool for Apple and nothing more. And really, developers need to develop an integrated product. This would be absolutely fantastic if it had its own controller and interface. But using one of these, it's an instant fail as far as I'm concerned, because I know it's working now, but I know if I need to buy another product to use that same tablet, this will probably stop working. I also know that within 6 months to 12 months, this will no longer function unless I jump through hoops to keep it going, and that's something that I find absolutely disgraceful in modern products, and it's a rabbit hole that so many developers are going down. It's a lazy approach to developing, and I'm really hoping that we turn around and get away from this desire to use tablets for everything, because they just don't work. They'll work a bit for this, they'll work a bit for that, but unless you're willing to constantly tinker and mess with them, your products just all stop working after a short period of time, and you're the one that's expected to do the legwork to get them working again. Having said that, I would definitely recommend one of these. If you're interested in chess, these are fantastic, but I just would like developers of things like this to go down their own development route. Develop a product that is complete. Don't rely on third parties such as Apple to create a system and environment that's going to allow your product to keep working. Because if you do that, you're building a product that at some point is going to stop working, and at the very least is going to be extremely frustrating for the end users. As I say, on Christmas Day I spent 6 hours getting this working because of things that were beyond the control of the developers. So directly it wasn't their fault. Indirectly it is their fault for going down the app route, but it's something that will keep cropping up time and time again. Just because I've now got it working doesn't mean I'm not going to be faced with the same issue later today, tomorrow, next week, 3 months' time. It will keep coming up over and over again while I own this product. And that is why I do not like apps. It's why I don't like tablets. And it's why I wish that people would really go down the proper development route when developing things like this. It's okay if you want to do an app for seeing how long you've been jogging for, or if you're making a supermarket list, but it's not suitable for something like this where the users want it to work without issue for an extended period of time. And also you don't really want to be in a position where you're investing a huge amount of effort and work into something where the rug could be pulled from under your product at an instant's notice and you'd then be left without any income. So apologies for the rant, but I'm really hoping that this reliance on applications is brought under control, because it is infuriating trying to get products to work with applications.